hard that how they were doing on the rest of the map didn't really matter, right? Definitely was insanely ahead. And, you know, while they did well in the top lane and in the mid lane, when your AD carry is down 57 CS at 15 minutes, and when your bot lane is like 0-6 pretty early in the game, it's going to be tough to win. So, you know, Adrian definitely was disappointed with his performance. Altec was as well, and they're looking to bounce back today. Yeah,
you certainly know it's bad when it's game-warpingly bad. We'll see if they can right the ship and do things a little differently here as we are into the draft for this game. OpTic on blue side, ban away Azir and Varus, and Fox on the other side, Skarner and Sion with Rise. The next ban there for OpTic, who fell through picks and bans last game.
Yeah, blue side Rise ban a little bit strange, but obviously not willing to first pick it, and they don't want to give it over to Fenix in their second round there. So Skarner, Sion, pretty normal bans here. Galio taken away from the mid lane, so 3 mid lane bans already. powerOfEvil, someone who has been playing a little bit of a different champion pool from a lot of the other mid laners in the LCS. His most played is actually Syndra. He has a couple Victor games here also, and we'll see if they're going to be looking at anything like that. But okay, this is actually really interesting.
First pick Cassio. I mean, we talk about tier champions certainly being very strong, but with Rise banned and Cassio taken away, OpTic Gaming trying to corner the market.
Yeah, they definitely are, but it also seems a bit strange to be banning out Rise when Cassio is considered by most pros to be an advantageous matchup. So if you are going to first pick Cassio, why ban out that Rise? But either way, maybe they just think it's, you know, a different tier of kind of power here. So Cassio going to be brought out on 8.4. Xayah, Rakan quickly locked in as the bot lane duo. Caitlyn, certainly someone who can lane and match up very, very well against this powerful duo, though, especially if they are willing to get, you know, another lane dominant support alongside that. I do think if you want to go tank support, you can easily go something like the braum here too, which does work pretty well against the Xayah. But it could be a little of powerOfEvil's own medicine being used against him here, as Syndra is available. It's not going to be the choice. So.
Yeah, Orianna makes a little more sense. Pretty classic counter pick versus the Cassio. So certainly some risks with the blind pick here from OpTic, but taking just a lot of power in these first 3 picks. And Echo Fox certainly changing it up a little. Was only one jungler ban really with Skarner taken off, so the tanks were available to Dardoch, who's been a big Zac and Sejuani player this split, but apparently is switching it up, playing more aggressive, at least in this game, as Sejuani will get taken away from Akaadian as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people are feeling that Kha'Zix is kind of the king jungler right now on this patch. Kha'Zix was already very high priority, especially, you know, in LCK even previously, and now it just kind of is even better on 8.4 with less vision. If you can find those duels, there's not a lot of junglers that can really match up against Kha'Zix in the early stages of the game. So definitely expecting Echo Fox to throw some jungle bans the way of Akaadian, look for Dardoch to get the advantages there. And also kind of looking to see if OpTic is going to target the support role, because there is not parity in the picks and bans there. So they are going to be banning away Tahm Kench, but braum, Alistar, Taric, etc. still available if Adrian wants to go for a tank support.
Seems like Tahm Kench probably just the best option to protect Altec's Caitlyn, so I don't mind the ban away there. Trundle also the other one from OpTic, so maybe trying to drag Huni into a tank v tank matchup and maybe neutralize things there. Like you said though, braum was open, so is the pick for Adrian.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, if you're planning on blind picking a tank here for Dhokla, which very likely is going to be the option, you don't want to leave Trundle up. Huni is going to be a stronger laner than Dhokla, and if you give him a heavily advantageous matchup, you can expect that to spiral out of control. I do think that the braum is a strong pick.
Hey!
It's going to be Lee Sin for Akaadian.
The gauntlet is thrown and apparently accepted by Akaadian. Take the Lee Sin.
This is actually very exciting. Definitely was not expecting to see Lee Sin on 8.4. A lot of people are talking about how Tracker's Knife changes, they thought killed the champion, but the win rates actually weren't affected very much, at least in solo queue. And you know, Lee Sin with Blue Smite or Red Smite can be a pretty powerful duelist as well. This is more of what we want to see from Akaadian. We need to see him getting active, getting out on the map, making some proactive plays, because Lee Sin, certainly his biggest strength is in the earlier stages, and there is going to be some CC available to kind of help make some of these ganks happen. When you look at the Rakan set up in the bot lane, Maokai to set you up in the top lane, and you know, post 6, especially for Cassio, you have the Miasma plus the ultimate there, so definitely opportunities for Akaadian to get out and affect some of these lanes. But likewise for Dardoch, certainly some options there, you know, especially combination with the braum and Caitlyn. You do have kind of pretty powerful pushing lane and maybe can set up some dives and some plays as well.
Just fun, kind of from a story perspective, to think about Akaadian and Dardoch playing aggressive junglers now that things have been freed up a little. These were hot-headed rookies when they first entered the LCS, known for some pretty fast, loose, and impressive plays. So kind of calling back to their roots now that the junglers are slowly being pushed out of the meta. It's not completely out, of course, but certainly fun to see these two maybe go blow for a little more. They are friends as well, I believe. So I'm sure wanting to get the better of each other on stage with these kind of flashy picks. Otherwise, you know, aggressive junglers, pretty standard stuff down the line here. I mean, maybe a little more index to the late game and the lane for Echo Fox with the Caitlyn. A little more laning robustness in the bot side, but 2 tanks, 2 aggressive junglers, and some good team fighters make up both these team cons.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's only actually the second Lee Sin pick of this whole year. Lyra did bring it out once and lost, so interesting to see it brought out on 8.4 when most people had been thinking it was weaker, but maybe Akaadian can prove us all wrong. It's definitely going to be an exciting one. 2 explosive early game junglers.
The unseen Lee Sin is the deadliest, perhaps, as these teams are out under Summoner's Rift. For our second bout of the day, OpTic versus Foxbox, trying to recover from a loss yesterday. OpTic looking for a monumental upset to potentially push Echo Fox to an 0-2 weekend. That does not sound like something the first place team wants, but yesterday, Adrian explained what went wrong against Golden Guardians.
Me and Altec just played really poorly today. Like, we didn't account for Xayah, Rakan moving in the bush level 1, so we had to blow a flash. And then we came to lane, got hit by Xayah and Rakan W again. And then he died. Then we just kept dying, and it was really unfortunate that we just kept dying. And they set up a huge 10 bottom, and yeah, we just played really poorly that game against Golden Guardians.
A little bit of an unlucky game for them.
Oh,
but,
yes.
It does happen from time to time, and they're definitely going to be looking to bounce back because while one bad game is you know, kind of a bit of an aberration there, but you don't want it to become a pattern, right? You don't want to be continually turning in those poor performances, and especially against Arrow and LemonNation, who are not considered one of the stronger laning duos in the league. You definitely want to have a bounce-back game here, but some interesting runes to be looking at. You know, LemonNation going Aftershock is certainly somewhat atypical on the Rakan. It is chosen from time to time, but very heavily people are leaning towards Unsealed Spellbook actually on this champion. This is going to kind of give him a bit more tankiness when he does actually go in for those full engages. And likewise, you can see the phase rush here from powerOfEvil, which is really going to be pretty powerful when you can proc that. You get the 3 separate hits, and the speed up and the chase down can be that much stronger. So definitely can help you in some of those kind of team fight situations.
A welcome change perhaps.
Level 2 gank mid.
Both junglers have electrocute, and yeah, Akaadian's already off to the races. Fenix level 1, gonna dash in, proc the red buff. Q does not quite land. Hit a caster creep instead. Bottom lane though, again, OpTic fighting with level 1. You'd think they would have learned some of their lesson from yesterday, but Altec gonna take some damage.
Yeah, but you know, pretty decent trade back and forth there for them. A good try, I think, from Akaadian, and one thing I will say, while the gank clearly did not really work out, I like that he did not waste a lot of time waiting, right? So he goes in, he sees, yes, the opportunity is not perfect here. I'm not going to probably be able to land the Q, but ward hop in, get a little bit of damage, try to get something from it, and then just go straight back to farming. You know, he's not going to be too far behind as far as the farm lead and this sort of thing off of that. So not the most detrimental. We'll see if Dardoch can get anything done here around the bot side as he is looking.
Yep, tag there from Adrian's going to kind of give that one away. Winter's Bite goes wide. As Arrow and LemonNation probably going to play a little bit safer, but they're trying to get this wave to the turret. Snipe from the cannon there by Arrow as he pops out some feathers. And OpTic should be okay as Dardoch is now busy in Akaadian's half of the map. Ooh, does get caught though. Great tag from Akaadian. Damage down, powerOfEvil looking to chase. That's going to force a flash. Akaadian's going to flash after him. He smells blood. Lemon's roamed up. The miasma already there. Dardoch's got nothing left to go. And first blood to PoE.
And there it is, the jungle and mid lane duo grouping up as we said, and they're going to force another flash as Lemon roams up. And this is exactly what you want to see. First blood on your mid laner. Double buffs here onto PoE as well. And that is just working out so well for them. And wow, what an explosive start there. Taking down Dardoch is really a big deal. Dardoch moving in for the invade here, but Akaadian is lying in wait and gets a big chunk onto him, forcing out the flash. They both have their flash. They look for the follow-up miasma to slow him down, guaranteeing the Q is going to hit here from Akaadian. They clean him up, and just a really good start, as well as forcing summoners from Fenix, so not even a flash advantage there on the mid lane, double buffs, extra gold, early tier here for powerOfEvil. And he's going to have almost no mana problems at all because not only does he have the tier, he went for Presence of Mind, so the unlimited spam after you level up, as well as mana flow ban. So he's indexing very heavily on all this mana. And in 8.4 with 20% CDR being put onto Seraphs, you kind of turn on, I think, a lot faster on the Cassio than you used to. So definitely a champion who can take over a game. We're going to have to see how powerOfEvil can perform.
Yep, like the roam from Lemon as well. Had to use his flash, but like you said, a worthwhile trade there in mid. PoE farming up happily as Fenix does return to this lane. Also a tier Orianna here, seeing a bit more of this. Dhokla and Huni going blow for blow, but Huni winning early out. He's already 10 CS ahead, actually.
Yeah, very far ahead. Dhokla definitely struggling a little bit. You are expected to be somewhat behind in this, and there are a lot of minions pushing towards him, so you have to take that into consideration. We'll see what the CS advantage or disadvantage is after all these minions have been cleared out, and he's been given a chance to the last hit. But the fact that Cho'Gath is playing Grasp instead of Aftershock, that helps you as far as the actual laning 1v1. But a nice W catching both there from Lemon.
Lemon finds two, dodges the Q as well as he zips back towards Arrow. Again, the bot lane of Fox just feeling some pressure. CS is not reflected in that just yet, but Lemon playing very active on this Rakan.
But it's never the situation you want to like, when you pick a Caitlyn, you pick that to win lane, to be pushing, to be pressuring turrets and these sorts of things. And if you're on the back foot as Caitlyn, it starts to feel pretty bad because this is a champion that, as far as the team fights go, I feel is very slow to turn on, has quite a weak mid game. And the way you kind of circumvent that is by not really interacting. And you do that by pushing and just pressuring turrets and getting gold that way to kind of get to a couple items.
Instead, it's OpTic that have this advantage. They're going to shove this wave all the way in and then likely take a recall. PoE still playing up here in the mid lane as well. Fenix doing a nice job farming up. Certainly a matchup he'll be very familiar with. But again, charging up his own tier, does hit level 6. And that early pressure from Akaadian really upset things here around the mid lane as PoE was able to get those buffs. Things, though, should kind of settle down as they have dropped off. And looks like Dhokla didn't quite get all the CS, but wasn't as far behind as we may have thought. So again, happy to kind of take his blows on the Maokai early if it means he'll be effective later in the game.
Yeah, I am somewhat concerned about that big of a disadvantage this early on, though.
15's not great.
Yeah, 15 already, and he is on the back foot. He has used his health potion. Huni has not. He is kind of going to be the first one probably to base. He even expended actually a couple dematerializer charges there to try to combat that and give him a little bit more counter push. And it's not a lane you want to kind of spiral out of control. Even though it is Huni on a tank, it's still Huni, and he still can really take over games. And the scaling there on Cho'Gath is quite powerful here too, right? Cho'Gath is going to be a very strong frontline champion and can kind of neutralize some of the power of the Maokai simply through the ultimate and kind of helping to burst him down. So you need to be staying fairly close, or as close as you certainly can.
I think the question then to ask is, OpTic, what do they do with the leads that they've built in mid and bot lane? Do they keep pressuring those sides and try and bust those open and kind of give Dhokla some of that global gold, or do they transfer some of that advantage to the top lane? I think for now the plan is just say, tell Dhokla, hold on, do what you can. And if you absolutely need help, let us know. But for now, OpTic should be happy with the 2 lanes they are winning. Fox, Huni kind of as expected is getting a lead, but nothing too crazy just yet, as we're looking for, I think, the next bit of pressure from these aggressive junglers, or maybe even Huni as he roams down and tries to get some vision onto the jungle. We'll spot the blue buff still available here for OpTic.
Yeah, Huni not going to get too crazy as he hasn't even gone back to base yet. But definitely, I think it was the plan for OpTic. When you're blind picking a Maokai into Huni, you're not expecting him to smash that lane, but
it goes over. What a shockwave from Fenix. Dardoch just kind of swoops in and steals a kill.
Yeah, Dardoch just got right behind him there, and powerOfEvil not able to connect on the ultimate. They just burst him down. Nicely done, but yeah, OpTic, it's okay to give some ground in the top lane. I mean, you're not expecting your rookie top laner to beat Huni with a blind pick Maokai. Like, that is just never something you're going to expect to happen. So the mid lane's doing pretty well, bot lane is doing pretty well. You can look to kind of scale up, and hopefully Akaadian can continue to pressure and kind of put some more aggression out on the map, and just kind of go from there, look for team fights a little bit later on.
Stun gonna allow Arrow with a wonderful ulti, immunes the stun for a little while longer. Akaadian down here, kicks one in, that's Altec tag, and not taken down, it's late, but Arrow grabs them both, they split them.
Yeah, Arrow actually trying to greed out and kill both, so he's trying to kill off the Rakan before the guaranteed Altec kill, and ended up getting pretty low, but either way, nicely done by Akaadian, wraps around behind. It's both the Echo Fox bot lane going down here, and he will be able to steal the blue buff right back. So kind of tit for tat here, but Dardoch is moving over. Fenix is in the area. We'll see if he actually can secure this. He's going to go right on powerOfEvil.
Yeah, bonus points if he gives it to PoE, but that pressure from the Kha'Zix probably a little too much. OpTic think the same, and they will actually back off.
I think that makes some sense. You know, your bot lane is not there anymore. You just got chunked out. You don't want to risk anything going too bad. Meanwhile, up in the top side, Huni's kind of stacking it away, and here's the play again around mid lane. So Dardoch going in with the invis. powerOfEvil doesn't see him until just now, and he tries to react with the ult, but Dardoch moves behind him, and the shockwave is pulling him forward, so it kind of goes over his head there. And then here's Akaadian on the bot side, wrapping around behind. The aggression coming in from the OpTic bottom lane duo. So Akaadian just decides to go straight through, ward hop over, and he's able to find Altec with the flash kick into the guaranteed Q. And they wanted to give that to Altec, that kill on Altec to Arrow, but did get a little bit dicey at the end.
Yep, still, both go over. Good collection from OpTic. No extension on the play, so the turret's going to stay pretty healthy here in bot side, but still, OpTic up 3 kills to 1, 600 gold so far. Things are looking good, despite the fact that Dardoch was able to kind of even things out a little in the mid lane.
Yep, and as long as Dhokla is able to keep it around this CS disadvantage that he has gotten, that's not really going to matter. It's not going to decide the game, right? So if you can put them in this tank versus tank matchup and just kind of have it neutralized, have it be a farm lane, you've taken the best player on Echo Fox, perhaps even the best player in the league, and you've made it just a lane where he's not going to dominate. So I think makes quite some sense. Have Akaadian just focusing on bot side, focusing around mid side, and trying to really snowball Arrow and powerOfEvil, who are the stars on OpTic as far as the damage carries.
PoE does need some help on farm, though the gold is close between the two. Fenix has certainly been able to exert some of that pressure, but here comes kind of what you expected as Dhokla knocking Huni back into the turret. Might get himself feasted, but should be okay for now. Huni thinking about it, but Dhokla playing that pretty carefully.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the knife's edge a little bit as Dhokla is quite low, and Dardoch is up here, so Dhokla very intelligently backing off. Actually, really good game sense there to get out of there. He definitely would have died, and Huni took a couple turret shots, so if it was just the 1v1, it would not really have been anything that Huni could have done to kind of continue to push that. Either way, Dhokla backs off. The turret is getting somewhat low, though, and Huni has the CS advantage. We'll see if they decide to give this solo gold to Huni or if they want to split, since Kha'Zix is a champion that can use a lot of this gold himself and would like to carry.
Looks like a split here for Echo Fox, but the bonus gold gifted over nonetheless. Now they're the ones up about 500 gold. So Huni's just kind of individual lane pressure there, enough to do damage to that turret, and with a bit of help from Dardoch and some nice pressure from Huni to set it up, things are going nicely as they do take that first turret away. OpTic maybe playing it a little too slow, but again, still have leads that they can work with here in bot and mid.
Yeah, and they are playing against lanes that are somewhat hard to kind of dominate, right? This is an Orianna in the mid lane who has very strong wave clear, and it is a Caitlyn who's supposed to be this lane dominant champion in the bot lane, so it's not like you can just completely bully her around. She still has a lot of early game power, and braum definitely a pretty strong laning tank support here. But either way, I'd say OpTic doing well on the bottom side of the map. Top side certainly not going their way, but it's kind of a question of if Huni now can get out elsewhere on the map, now that he has knocked down this turret, or if Dhokla can kind of still keep this more just kind of a stabilized 1v1.
Yep, see how much farm Dhokla can get, but a dive coming here for OpTic. 3v4 right
Echo
now.
Fox is almost here, though.
Dardoch is here. Lemon already started things off. They're under the turret, trying to go for Adrian, but he's pretty tanky. Fenix looking to turn this one around. Lemon gets away. Akaadian also there, but that was a kill onto Altec. Nice from PoE to get the snipe under the turret.
Yeah, nicely done, but Dhokla needs to get back to the top side because Huni actually didn't even TP, and you don't want to allow him to get straight to that turret. So OpTic pushing up. They get one kill. They will not be able to take the turret because of the quick roam from the rest of the team, but it still turns out as a pretty positive play. powerOfEvil can push in mid lane. Looks like Dhokla will be back to top side before that wave can get to his turret, and it's going to be Huni looking for a roam here onto PoE, who does have his flash available, but no ult.
What friends does Huni have, though? Takes the turret hit. Dardoch and Fenix both collapsing. PoE going to try and outplay this one, but I don't know if there's really much potential for it. Good long range. Silent Shockwave's ready. Finds it, and now PoE goes down.
Yeah, I'm surprised he decided to run towards Echo Fox's side of the map when he saw Huni. Yes, Huni is very frightening, but I still feel there's much more of a chance to run back towards him, and obviously they were not super paying attention to what Huni was doing. They didn't know if his feast was on cooldown or not, because you're not going to be watching the top side of the map while he's clearing waves, but either way, here's the 4-man, 5-man play back on the bottom side of the map again. LemonNation looking for the engage over here onto Altec, but Altec quick reaction, able to flash out of the initial engage and kind of survive a fair bit longer because of that, but powerOfEvil focusing him down, able to finish off that kill as the TP comes in from Dhokla, and then it's just a case of both sides backing off.
Yep. Gold, though, will eventually go over to OpTic in the bot lane. They collect the turret for themselves. No bonus gold, but still good nonetheless to even things up on the objective front.
And it was solo gold onto Arrow, so that is going to feel really good for him. Kind of just putting him even that much more ahead of Altec. He's 1,100 gold ahead of his counterpart now on a stronger champion on one item. But Dardoch sneaking in here is looking for them, and looks like they're just going to give it up as Huni's TPing down.
Yo, Dhokla uses TP already, so Echo Fox will say thanks for the leash and collect that Cloud Drake.
Not that big of a deal, honestly, for OpTic, though. If that is Huni's TP, he certainly wanted more from that. I think Huni was expecting more of a fight around that because his bottom lane was behind, and because OpTic was the ones that started up, he was probably expecting them to contest that more heavily. Either way, nothing really comes from it. A little bit surprised to see Dhokla based on that early timing, but I guess they're just trying to make a really fast swap over to the top side, and they're going to rotate Arrow and LemonNation up there, try to continue their pressure out on the map, and look to try to knock down that tier 1 turret and send Dhokla either around mid lane to try to make a play or down bot side to try to collect some of that farm.
Yep, Arrow's still looking good here alongside Lemon. Does have the Essence Reaver already done. Dardoch still trying to get some pressure down with the Red Smite Moby Boots Kha'Zix. Similar look here for Akaadian, who I think is going Black Cleaver after that fade. So again, nice to see the junglers kind of change things up, and Akaadian is power jungling, or at least trying to. He's going to start the Rift Herald after taking down the Scuttle Crab.
It is spotted, though. We'll see if they're actually willing to make a play around this. Neither top laner has TP. The bottom lane is stronger, though, for OpTic, and this is a fight that they could more reasonably take because it's going to be even numbers. They know neither top laner can come. Arrow is at a stronger point. PoE is faster to the play, and it's just going to be their Rift Herald.
Yeah, Fenix was coming back from base, so Rift Herald over to Akaadian. As we'll see if OpTic try to quickly take down another turret. Maybe top is something they could look for, but right now OpTic just going to fall back to their lanes as PoE slithers back to mid lane.
Yeah, I like this. We need to see Akaadian now look for a play. If he can actually get a kill on Fenix and then drop the Rift Herald, it would be huge. We'll see if he can make it happen.
Tag does not land.
No,
Fenix going to get some pressure back instead. Good little sidestep there from Fenix. Akaadian could have got in there, but again, Flash and Cleanse both up for Fenix, so it was going to be a tough ask, even if that Q had connected. Still though, I like the pressure, might as well go for it, doesn't waste too much time, and he's back to farming the jungle. Fenix again also gets himself that blue buff, continuing to grow. Pretty big CS lead actually. Seraph's already transformed, and that's 40 up.
I mean, especially with the start that happened there in the mid lane, definitely not what you were expecting that to look like, but you know, Orianna certainly can be a strong matchup into the Cassio, and that's sometimes what happens when you're willing to just blind pick something like this. Either way, the fact that powerOfEvil has a couple kills means he's not so far behind.
Oh, Dardoch, that was so dirty! Sneaks the ball in Invis, they wait out the ulti, and Dardoch, take him out. Just takes down powerOfEvil.
Yeah, really nicely done by Dardoch, and honestly putting on fantastic pressure, but still disappointed that PoE does not flash that shockwave. I mean, they have pulled off that same play a couple times now. Kha'Zix coming in out of stealth to try to go for you. You need to respect flash the shockwave backwards. If you do that back towards your turret, you are not going to die there. Instead, another easy kill for Echo Fox, and he blows his summoners after already being 100% dead to rights. So a bit poorly played there by powerOfEvil.
Handy minion there for Dhokla, able to get out from under the knock-up. Now actually fighting in onto Huni, but Huni is just chilling out, having some fun. Good step forward. Test here for Huni. He's passing though, tanking the top, but I don't think it's going to matter. It's an awfully tanky Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and with his passive, he heals up so much off the minions. So off of this wave, that's a big heal there, and he will be A-OK to be continuing to push forward. We can see powerOfEvil is building towards the Abyssal. They're actually just going to try to do this dive.
Oh, silence. Good juke again from Dhokla. Needs to make it a little bit better. The feast already on. He gets a bit of extra health back. Maybe outplays it, but Huni can take the turret for 2. Damn long. Dardoch takes the kill.
Oh, that was actually really close by Dhokla. Maybe if he used his flash, he could have got out. Hard to say, but it does a good job delaying. We'll see if they can actually get a turret back here in the mid lane now for that. Turret is very healthy, and there's no other minions, so actually just going to get a little bit of a chunk. Don't really love the dropping of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, a bit of a waste. No regen for the outer turret, so we'll stay at that health for a while. But I think OpTic just a little rush to answer the bot side play.
Yeah.
Again, Dardoch, credit for really setting up nicely. It's pretty easy to babysit someone like Huni, even in this sort of matchup. Tank v tank with his Cho'Gath, but Again, the pressure is starting to mount here as Huni taking over another side lane.
Yeah, I mean, Dardoch is honestly just putting out a lot of pressure. He's been very, very effective, constantly getting in the face of powerOfEvil, being able to put pressure on him. I mean, this is a massive CS advantage now in mid lane. 60 CS pre-20 minutes is pretty insane. When Cassio started with First Blood and has a couple kills to her name, she's still working towards that Abyssal, which is going to make her pretty tanky in combination with the Seraphs, which is finally now fully stacked. So will get harder to take her down, but Fenix is also a couple levels.
Ooh, great cleanse! Still the kickback in a land. Fenix taking some damage. Shockwave should be enough to defend. Yeah, no one can catch him, and Dardoch is going to leap his way back in. He's trying to take down Lemon. Flashes out, does get it! Flash silence from Huni. Now going to chase him for a little bit more, but the poison from Cassio actually kills Dardoch.
Yeah, kind of bailing them out of what would have otherwise been a bad play, but powerOfEvil does pick up a kill, so it is a 1-for-1 trade. Did look somewhat disjointed, though, from OpTic. I mean, PoE is still sitting back farming the minions, while Lemon and Akaadian are going all in on Fenix, and turns what perhaps could have been a cleaner play into a scrappy 1-for-1. The kill does go the way of powerOfEvil, though, so that is always going to feel good, and they're trying heavily to keep their mid laner in this game and to try to keep him, you know, on pace. But as you watch this play, like, look where powerOfEvil is. powerOfEvil is back pretty far away, and he's kind of farming up some minions, then he moves back forward again, and not really able to get involved, so it didn't feel like there was a full commitment on the same page there. Thankfully, though, he is able to hit that last poison, and the burn down does barely get Dardoch.
Well, unfortunately for him, that does fall, so a trade nonetheless. PoE does get some gold back for himself. Dhokla here in mid lane, gonna have to juke out that shockwave. Fenix doesn't have it for a couple seconds, but it's
coming in.
Yep, Echo Fox looking for it. Glacial Fissure finds no targets from Adrian. TP cancelled by Huni. He's just gonna complete the rest of the walk manually.
I've got to say, a pretty strange roam from Dhokla, who had minions at his turret, is already pretty far behind, and just kind of wanders over to mid lane, perhaps expecting a big fight, but they're actually going to try to rush Baron off of this. This is, I don't think there's any way this is going to work this early in the game, but they are killing it pretty quick. Echo Fox is in a good position to take this team fight, though, and OpTic is just going to have to back off.
I mean, maybe that's why Dhokla is sticking around. The call is to fight here. They're looking for it. The Shockwave finds 3, but damage still there. Arrow flashing forward, looking to take down Altec. Needs a couple more. Will manage to grab it. But the Mountain Dragon goes over to Huni, just takes that feast stack. Kind of a 1-for-1, but OpTic back to Baron.
I don't know if they can really go straight back on a Baron here. They may want to attempt it, but Akaadian is pretty low. Looks like they're trying to at least start it up. Yeah, they're going to start it up.
Oh, with the ruse, but only a stun for PoE. Onto 2, but the Miasma is great. Lemon with a wonderful follow-up. Adrian is going to fall down to powerOfEvil. Huni is not healthy enough to survive this. He gets rooted and taken down by the Cassiopeia.
Nicely done there. powerOfEvil catching a couple, and they're able to turn for the fight. Echo Fox feels like they're trying to rush into this. The Baron is going down very quickly now with Cassio in the pit. Dardoch is still available to look for a steal, though, and OpTic is getting chunked out fairly hard by the Baron. There's vision from both sides. The pink ward is still there. Dardoch can go for this, and this is very risky. We need to see Lemon or someone zoning him out.
Yeah, Arrow finally actually taking down the ward, caught Miasma, but Dardoch just has to guess again. Vision for the ball. Akaadian gonna try and kick him out of the way,
no.
but Dardoch moves back in, takes the Baron. Akaadian makes a huge mistake.
Oh, Akaadian went over the wall to try to kick out the jungler. The jungler is not even there. He kicks away the mid laner, dies, and gives over the Baron to Dardoch. And OpTic, oh no, you can just see the look on Akaadian's face. He knows that he just blew that big time.
Certainly did. I mean, was maybe looking at a 50-50 that OpTic had a bit of advantage in. Instead, blows those chances right away, going over the wall and gifts the Baron over to Echo Fox.
I mean, they completely flubbed that play. Honestly, you have so many ways to actually stop him from getting over the wall. I don't really understand what the thought process here is. So that looks like LemonNation. I don't know if that was a Grand Itches that he's trying to go over the wall. Like, why is LemonNation not going over the wall to zone? Why is, you know, they're not a Miasma into a Smite combo? You know, why is the Maokai not trying to twisted advance over the wall and zone him out? Like, where's the coordination on that? It's actually Akaadian, the only one who goes over at about 5% HP, dies and gives over the guaranteed Baron to Dardoch from what would have been a 50-50 at worst.
Yeah, and said OpTic, give it over. I mean, for whatever reason, not patient enough, can't play coordinated enough. Dardoch gonna fail. Ooh, that's a very safe face check. What a slick bit of movement there from Dardoch. Sees everyone and slips that away.
Face checks into a pink ward with multiple people stacked in the brush, but it's Kha'Zix.
It is
So it's
Kha'Zix.
okay.
Yeah, it is. It's from invisible to extra invisible.
Yeah.
That's kind
super
of
duper invisible.
as the turret does fall.
Man, that is a brutal play. That is gonna be one of those ones that kind of haunts you, because that may have swung around the game completely. I mean, now Altec from this huge disadvantage is actually on 2 items now at a reasonable point. They get the gold from the Baron. They're gonna start cleaning up turrets, and you know, Fenix already was quite ahead. This is gonna be a tough ask now for OpTic to really find some picks in this game. It's gonna require some really good engages, some good flanks from Akaadian, from LemonNation. And powerOfEvil and Arrow are going to have to do most of the heavy lifting as far as the killing goes. I mean, you can see this CS lead is completely ballooned from Huni and Dhokla. You know, it's nearing 100 farm now. 100 CS almost in the advantage for Huni. And Dhokla is getting way behind on farm. He's not going to be very tanky in the team fights compared to Huni because of that. And he is constantly making these roam plays and then not being in position to actually soak up the farm. So they need to engage now, or they're just completely wasting their time.
You can see OpTic just kind of overcommitting, perhaps looking to try and find a fight. Fenix may be caught out, but Dhokla slowed.
It just honestly reeks of desperation. I mean, Huni is just killing your turrets in the bot side. Dhokla is already insanely far behind.
Oh, Lemon goes in for it, looking for Altec, but maybe not enough. Arrow with the damage. Shockwave's good, but Altec does fall. Arrow on a rampage. We're going to keep taking them down. Huni does defensive TP over, but the Maokai ult only finds frontline.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick from LemonNation, but honestly, pretty silly for EchoFox to not just be backing off when Huni is taking turrets for free in the bottom lane. So definitely some really sloppy play from both sides, but OpTic do get the pick. They will be pushing mid lane and may be able to knock down this turret here.
powerOfEvil actually taking aggro. Arrow trying to lay into Huni. The tower's still alive. Arrow actually gets a chunk taken out of him. The Q is not going to knock him up. Rupture barely missing, on Arrow as Akaadian pulls the hop back over the wall. I mean, OpTic really want this turret, but you cannot overplay this situation as OpTic, and I think they realize.
Yeah, I mean, and Huni is just such a beastly frontliner at this point that he's basically not taking damage. Arrow is free firing on him for so long, and you know, he just uses the ult on him, pushes him back, steps back, and he's warmogging back right up to full. So here's the play again. With Huni pushing on the bot side with Baron, EchoFox should not be moving forward. Why are you moving forward into a 5v4 that OpTic is trying to desperately engage on? Like, this is just, you know, poor play from EchoFox, and it does gift them the 1 kill. But because of the advantage that EchoFox had, no more comes from it. But definitely, you know, not what you want to see, right? You need to be playing the map. You need to be playing it intelligently. If your 5-man is not there and they're trying to engage, you're getting 3 objectives on the other side of the map, you shouldn't be fighting.
Yep, Baron time's off, though I think from Fox may have a little bit to go, but we'll find out in just a second as Lemon running down mid again, gets a ward down. Somebody wants to take that turret gold down, but not available just yet as Fenix returns to clear out those waves. Looks like Deathcap is next on the menu for this Orianna. And again, Fox playing with a pretty decent lead, 3,000 gold as Dardoch sifts back through the right side jungle, hoping to spot somebody out.
Yeah, Fenix and Huni are just having such strong games here for EchoFox. Dardoch as well, I think, has been performing very, very well. The bot lane has been struggling again today, but solo lane so far ahead, and Dhokla.
Here comes Huni. Dhokla is not even safe. The damage should be enough here. The feast available if he needs it, and there we go. Huni collects a very tasty treat.
Yeah, you're not getting out of that one, and Dragon is going to be spawning. It could be another mountain for them, but it looks like they just want to push straight up mid lane. They can use Huni to just tank up the turret. It's no issue at all. He's going to take no damage from this, essentially. And Dardoch diving deep onto powerOfEvil. He's the only one there. So this is an EchoFox turret. And Huni will just warmog right back up to full health. They go to the Dragon. Nicely done there by EchoFox.
Yep, zoned off there by Dardoch as PoE cannot contest for that wave. OpTic were far up towards the top side, maybe hoping for a super long flank, but instead they'll leave Arrow in the top lane. He'll take down the outer turret, but the Mountain Drake will go over to EchoFox as they collect their 3rd total Drake of the game. And OpTic, despite the leads that they've built in this game, just playing these situations, I would just say not decisively enough, I think is the best way I can wrap that up. And where EchoFox, when it's getting scrappy, they're at least saying, okay, we can go for this.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, it's tough because a lot of this game comes down to one misplay around Baron, right? And had OpTic gotten that Baron, they would be looking really, really good, and it would be them who have ballooned the gold lead very likely, but they misplayed that, and sometimes League of Legends comes down to that one big play, but Akaadian looking to make up for it, trying to flank here onto Fenix.
Big play attempt, yeah. Turret goes down, Akaadian forced to flash.
Yeah, cost of his flash, at least they get the turret, so it's something. Definitely not what he was looking for, trying to actually kick Fenix into the powerOfEvil ult on Cassio. That's the combo they wanted there. Not quite able to find it, but either way, They do kind of play this guerrilla warfare style pretty well. They knew they couldn't contest with the dragon, so Arrow goes top, takes a turret. They make, yes, they spend their flash here in mid lane, but they do get another turret as well. So they're keeping the gold pretty even, and their carries are still very strong. powerOfEvil has a lot of kills. Arrow has a lot of kills. These guys have gold on their champions and can turn around a team fight. The tough part is just going to be how far Dhokla is behind and, you know, if they can kind of really make up for some of those disadvantages, because Altec was at a massive disadvantage, but has closed the gap as far as the gold lead quite a lot, thanks in part to the Baron, thanks in part to the global objectives they've taken, and a lot of time being kind of gifted to him to farm.
Yep, still down an item. Really QSS for Altec means he kind of delayed that next damage item, but Echo Fox with the feast ready, just going to zerg down this Baron. OpTic not even in the area to try and steal Akaadian, looking for some heroics, but Fenix able to take it down. And now Huni looking for the fight. LemonNation dives into the backline, gets a decent quickness as he charms a few. Good by Asper as well. They're trying to play zone. Nature's Grass is so good there as Dhokla still looking for it, but he's just not tanky at all. And OpTic, they lose their front line. They just can't get carries where they need to be.
Yeah, and the stopwatch there was actually so impactful for Huni. It bought so much time, and now Dardoch is looking to flank here. He wants to get over onto Arrow. Huni is regenning back up with the Warmog, so he's looking to re-engage. They want to chase this down. He's back near full HP, and if they can kind of corral them here, Dardoch is trying to wrap around behind. He can look to slow them down with the Void Spikes, and the rest of Echo Fox is just going to actually shove up mid. They're
sees them all, but Dardoch knows he can't face check again. Just zoning here from Echo Fox as the red buff contest. I think goes over to Arrow. Damage still moving in. The Miasma is nice from PoE. But again, OpTic just don't have angles in these fights.
And Arrow is really strong, so if he can find the right in, he will be able to make something happen. But it hasn't happened just yet, and he is trying to just continue farming, trying to get to a strong point, and waiting to see if they can find that grab, if they can find the right play, the right pick that could turn it around, because there is a lot of playmaking on this OpTic team. If you can kick the right person in, you know, comboing that with Rakan, with all the CC from Maokai, it's going to be very powerful, but you know, barring some sort of really nice play, they're still quite a bit behind the experience, and they're in a bit of a tough spot.
Another fight going to brew here. Dardoch looking for a target. Past PoE, but the charm lands in onto the front side. Fenix did flash in. I think looking for a shot play, but Arrow able to take him down. Huni and Dardoch trying to zone the rest away, but OpTic are regrouping here in the jungle.
Yeah, just a really well-coordinated fight there from OpTic. Echo Fox try to engage, but they are not all together. OpTic was there as a 5-man squad faster, and they are, you know, trying to force Echo Fox to funnel through these tight corridors where they have a lot of CC, they have a lot of damage coming out from their protected carries, and they manage that fight better. They get a kill onto Fenix, and they're honestly kind of neutralizing this Baron quite well.
Doing a really nice job of it, and you mentioned Arrow being ahead, being a strong carry. powerOfEvil also with 3 items, but we'll check back in after this.
Yeah, so here it is again. You can look how far away Huni is TPing to. So he just finished the TP first, but he's so much further away. And just now arriving to the fight after his mid laner is dead, after Adrian is very chunked out. And because it's a 5-man squad of OpTic all grouped up there, it's much harder for the two kind of split 2-man groups of Echo Fox to actually re-engage. So honestly, you know, this is kind of looking like when you're a couple weeks back with Echo Fox, despite the fact that they were so dominant in so many of their games, they always had these little mid-game lulls where they kind of, you know, be a little bit uncoordinated or kind of throw away advantages a little bit here and there. And it's feeling like that is kind of biting them a bit in this game, because there have been a few plays that have really kind of cost them from getting more from these Barons. Because they've gotten Baron twice in a row, and both times they've given up an ill-advised pick.
Oh my goodness, powerOfEvil somehow dodges the attempt, but Rakan just dies instantly to the Stoneplate Feast from Huni. All right, 4v5, OpTic gonna try and do something here, but Dhokla, he's forced to flash away as Dardoch again, finding the flank. That feels bad, man.
Yeah.
LemonNation just devoured by Huni. Stoneplate complete, and that's that might have been a one-shot.
Pretty much. I mean, there's very little health being built here by Lemon, and they're going to continue pushing. They have the banner up on the Baron minion, and they're just going to crack the base off this.
Yeah, good timing here. Baron's just about to wear off, but enough use to try and get this inhib. Lemon back in 5 seconds, but again, really tough to engage when you don't have that strong combo CC. OpTic really needs to be 5-man to start something in a team fight.
Yeah, and the Baron did expire, so they didn't feel confident to actually stay around and finish that off. And I mean, the amount of damage that's going to come out from a Beast is pretty ridiculous. It's almost at 1,000 without Stoneplate active, so you're looking at, you know, around 1,100, 1,200 plus damage with that Stoneplate up. And Lemon is sitting at 1,800 health total. So as he moves forward here, you can see, yep, QW there from Fenix, and it's going to do well over half his HP. So the instant kill there from Huni over onto him. And that's true damage. Does not care about the shockwave, but OpTic is able to kind of neutralize a little bit, back off, give up the minimum.
Yes. Not losing more. Actually impressive there for OpTic. So again, they continue to defend well, but Echo Fox still kind of building up these advantages, stacking them on top of each other. Mountain Drake number 3 makes these major objectives pretty trivial as the game pushes on. I mean, with this kind of comp, especially, Triple Mountain's nuts for Echo Fox.
They're going to insta-kill any Baron attempts, and they've honestly out-rotated OpTic here. They're just running straight down mid. OpTic is not back in base, and they should just be able to take out the inhibitor and then walk out towards the bottom side of OpTic's jungle here without having any sort of fight over it. We'll see if they're going to stay around. Altec cleans it off, and OpTic will have to kind of just cede this chase. Just got out-rotated.
Yep, no real vision to check
Huni
here,
looking now, though.
Another flank. Huni looking for someone, finds Arrow. Fox backing through together through the choke. This could be dangerous, but they need some vision. Don't have any. Akaadian takes a chunk from Fenix as well.
Yeah, I mean, Fenix did over half his health with that, and Huni's now looking
here
to
he
clean
comes
up.
again, chasing down Dhokla again. Just kill anyone. Even Fox, and it's good, but Lemon already dives back in. He's zoning out the carries, but he's just going to get stunned up forever. Fenix able to take him down, and Echo Fox once more 4v5 for OpTic as they try and fight it out. Dhokla with a good dodge out from under the rupture, but his ultimate's going to be used for nothing as Fox steamroll through the front of the base.
Yeah, and now it's OpTic that kind of got a little bit split up there. Dhokla getting chased down. Lemon decides to go in, but the rest of the carries are not following up on that. They are not with him on the same page, and now it's Huni and Echo Fox just marching down mid lane, and they're looking like they're trying to actually just end through mid without Baron with this 3v5 advantage. LemonNation is up in 10. We'll see if they can hold out.
See if they can do something here. PoE laying in what damage he can. Caster Creep dies, was banned up for a second, but yeah, Fox are kind of like, all right, not nearly enough to take down those Nexus turrets.
I mean, Arrow got a couple crits there that kind of laced through the team. He is sitting at a 100% crit chance now. So this is a very powerful Xayah, and is going to front load a ton of damage with a couple crits into the Blade Caller pullback. You can chunk someone out almost instantly, and there's no Zhonya's on Fenix. There's no, real kind of tanky items to help him with that. So yes, he is extremely powerful, but if you get caught out, if you kind of step forward at the wrong time, you can get burst down.
Tense point here, though, in this game. Dardoch's kind of being chased out by Lemon, and Baron is up in 10 seconds with super minions also pressuring the mid here for Echo Fox. OpTic have a really tough decision to make right now.
Certainly do. Huni look to check forward, though.
Huni going to be spotted, but Echo Fox find the rest of OpTic. And again, that pressure mounts in the mid lane. The super's starting to march down. Arrow gets knocked up, but no follow-up there from Echo Fox.
Yeah, they need to start something right now. OpTic can no longer wait. They are going to be losing their Nexus turret. So it's either start the Baron or engage right now. Looks like the call is actually just start the Baron to get the fight, and they're going to have to turn. There's no way you could just sit on this Baron, I don't think, and finish it off in this sort of situation. Dhokla is trying to tank it up. Akaadian looking to flank. We'll see if they can find the engage, but Dhokla's getting pretty low.
Needs a really good flank here from Akaadian, and Dhokla is still tanking this Baron.
Too low. This is just not working. OpTic needs to turn.
Yeah, Redemption, again, used to heal up a little bit more, but Echo Fox just being patient. Zoned off there as Akaadian. As again, Lemon tries to zip in, finds a couple. Fenix cleanses out of the next time and can't find a knock-up. Arrow almost gets eaten down instantly, but Arrow just can't do enough here, I don't think. powerOfEvil trying to find the damage, but the shutdown in onto Arrow comes from Altec. powerOfEvil now, the only one left alive. Shockwave not needed. The shutdown and the ace from Echo Fox.
Yeah, and that's going to be that. Echo Fox outmaneuver OpTic around the Baron. They have the mid hip down. They force OpTic into a fight that they could not win, and they are going to close this one out.
Yep, Huni TP's in to get the party started early, and Echo Fox will split the weekend 1-1. A little dicey there in the mid game, but Echo Fox come out on top.
Not the cleanest of wins here from Echo Fox, but a win is a win, and they have already clinched playoffs, so they're feeling pretty good, sitting alone at the top of the standings.
Maybe a lot of dicey, perhaps, there in the mid game. OpTic, I think, kind of put a lot of good things together, but you said it when it happened. That Baron mishap there for OpTic just kind of pushed the game towards Echo Fox, and from then on, it was just kind of like they're playing catch-up the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty unlucky Baron there for OpTic. I mean, they had some good advantages, really, especially on the bot side of the map. They were much stronger at that point, but giving the Baron over to Echo Fox in this risky situation. You know, close the gold lead, allowed Echo Fox to take a lot of global objectives, knock down a lot of turrets, and kind of buy time for Altec to really catch up in itemization, which made a big difference. And Huni was just insanely ahead of Dhokla. That was a very big mismatch on the top side of the map. I mean, finishes over 130 CS ahead. He was so much tankier in the fights, was putting out a lot more damage, and it just felt like a lot of the plays from OpTic looked desperate. They're trying to force things where they weren't really there. They were kind of getting maneuvered into situations where they knew they would be at a disadvantage if they engaged, but they don't really have any options, so they try to do it anyway, and Echo Fox is almost always going to win from those scenarios.
Yeah, and I think, again, credit to Huni to just kind of demonstrate how good of a player he is in this league. The roams, the general map play that he made, the lead that he built, everything was looking good, but enough from me. Let's head it down to OpTic, who is with Echo Fox's Adrian.
Thanks, Noobs. Huge time. Adrian, congratulations on that win. There was a lot of early focus on bot lane throughout that game. How did the game go from your perspective?
Yeah, like we felt a lot of pressure bottom against Rakan and Lee Sin. So yeah, I felt really bad being pressured so bad. Like yesterday and today, a lot of teams focused us, and like it's usually not like that. Like so, like yeah, we learned a lot from these matches, and hopefully we can fix our problems going forward.
And speaking to yesterday's game, you were vocal about your disappointment with your own play, I believe, on Twitter. What happened in that game, and how did you learn from it to pull off the win today?
Yeah, for yesterday, like I guess me and Altec weren't as focused, and we just didn't play as well as we should always be playing because we blew our flash level 1, we kept dying in lane. We pretty much inted that game, which is really sad for our teammates because we never usually do that, and I'm really sorry to them for doing that, and I hope it never happens again.
Well, you pulled off the win today. Congratulations again on that. And for more on the game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Echo Fox bounced back with the win, but again, doesn't come as easily as you would hope from the #1 team facing one of the teams on the lower half of the standings. But they do scrape it together. They move to 11-3. Adrian there, very measured in his responses, recognizing that their play hasn't been as crisp as they would like it to be.
No, and I think you can see that there's potentially a scary trend here starting. I mean, it has been Xayah, Rakan, the bot lane that they've been going up against, but they're starting to get smashed by this. And there's some of the stuff that happened yesterday to them. Xayah, Rakan, you heard Adrian talking there that they just weren't as focused. And that's kind of how things went with the Golden Guardians game, but then it continued later on.
Yeah, and then you see that happening a little bit again today. This was a good pressure play by Akaadian as the rest of Echo Fox was focusing on the other side of the map. And I do think it is an interesting transition for other teams to gank bottom lane more often because for much of the split, both in draft phase and in game, everything's been focused on the top side of the map, but here in the last 2 games, it's been more focused around the bottom side of the map, and Echo Fox isn't looking as good.
One of the things that happened on 8.4 was Kalista got changed, and that was one of the primary picks for this team. They would always take Kalista early on. That would secure their bot lane in terms of being safe and doing well, and it just didn't, come around this time. They tried the Caitlyn to be the safe pick as opposed to the Kalista, and they're still getting beat up by Xayah, Rakan, and people can start ganking them more often. That's a lane that you think you're trying to push a lot of the time, and they're underneath their turret. Their 4% was not very high.
Right, you heard it right there. Adrian's like, well, it kind of started yesterday, and teams didn't used to do this thing where they focus us in the bot lane. And so it's somewhat of a blueprint being laid out, although not executed on fully to get the victory for OpTic. But the early game definitely in favor with Akaadian making some aggressive moves on that Lee Sin.
Yeah, I think so, and it can work, but also OpTic needs to have the ability to execute that blueprint. And you see why a lot of teams haven't even tried to camp bot lane against Echo Fox, because if you don't gank Huni, and if you don't gank Fenix, they will smash you.
Yep.
And even in this game, it happened. Like, by 25 minutes, Huni was 100 CS up. At 15, he was 33 CS up onto Dhokla Maokai and 1,000 gold. And Fenix was potentially even better, I think.
Yeah, he was up 50 CS as well. And that's the thing is, if you're going to put your jungler attention down to the bot side, you're going to have to deal with the fact that Dardoch's going to be camping somewhere else most likely. And that went to the mid lane for Fenix.
Right, the only reason that gold differential isn't larger is because Akaadian did put some attention to the mid lane, got powerOfEvil a first blood, and that's probably why it's a slightly less gold differential than you saw in the top lane. Either way, both those solo laners performing well.
And I think this does speak to why Echo Fox is 11-3 now at this point, is even if you can camp the bottom lane and get some kills, or even in the games where Huni was getting camped, the lane that you don't pay attention to wins. And they're able to beat, especially teams like OpTic, I think, very reliably because of that.
And the concern, though, moving forward for this team is like teams that are more coordinated than OpTic and have stronger laners, this blueprint that's happened yesterday that resulted in a loss against Golden Guardians, who have a more stable top laner in Lorlo, who's not going to fall massively behind like what happened today with Dhokla. And, you know, the mid lane matchup. So this is something where a lot of teams can do this. A lot of the top teams have strong bot lanes and good solo lanes and can copy this idea.
Yeah, and in the last 2 days, we've seen Huni on Trundle and on Cho'Gath compared to, you know, the Vladimir and the Gangplank and the Gnar and the Yasuo that we've been seeing earlier on in the split.
Right.
And for whatever reason, having a Cho'Gath in a side lane who's 100 CS up is less threatening than the Yasuo or the Vladimir or the Gangplank that's 100 CS up in the side lane. So if those are the picks that Huni is going to continue to be put on, I don't like the team as much.
Right, a slightly more vulnerable Echo Fox. I mean, again, if we were to pause this game at a much earlier state, OpTic looks like they're perfectly positioned to win the game. We're going to pull up.
Baron.
Exactly. We're going to go to that Baron. Misplay, outplay this time around for OpTic.
I mean,
5v2.
I'll spoil the surprise. This is one of the worst Baron attempts, or not Baron attempts, Baron executions I've ever seen, because there's a lot of attempts that are bad. Like, you shouldn't be going for that. But here, why does your low health jungler leave the pit, let himself die, and then give up the smite to the enemy team? You took, at worst, what was a 50-50 situation and made it like a 10-90. This is a play that is so fine in ideal. You're playing Echo Fox, you're the underdogs, you got a couple kills, push it as far as you can go, and maybe at worst risk a 50-50, but you have a Rakan to go over, you have the miasma, it's like...
Technically, you can say Dardoch outplayed because he didn't jump in, but it is 100% a misplay by the OpTic team. When the miasma is thrown onto the Kha'Zix and Baron is at 2,000 health, you kill the Baron. Because Kha'Zix can't get in.
Yeah.
He can't jump over the miasma. That's not how the spell works. And when they threw the miasma, Akaadian went over to die. It was the absolute opposite of what you would have wanted.
Right, Lemon could have been the one to go over and contest that. The heal came in late from Arrow, so Akaadian goes down. You don't have to go over at all. And so unfortunately for OpTic Gaming, it's one of those situations, again, where they do a lot of things right and a couple things wrong, and it spells disaster for the squad. I mean, again, Lee Sin, I shuddered at the pick, right? When it was pulled through, I was like, oh my God, we're going to see a Lee Sin, no Tracker's Knife. And to be fair to Akaadian, he did a lot of work early. He did it all in the bot lane, and his two soul laners, unfortunately, are taking a beating, and it's just never enough.
Yeah, exactly that feeling where you just wish this team could finally put it all together. Maybe they don't win with that Baron because Echo Fox is a great team, and maybe they still come back, but at least, like, do the clearly correct things when you're in those situations, so then you force Echo Fox to beat you, not beat yourself.
Exactly. Echo Fox bouncing back with a win today. Up next, 100 Thieves square off against TSM in a battle for 5th place. We'll meet you back here for Game 3 after the break.